is. So culture-based education is completely immersing students in the language and ultimately the culture of their people. You can't learn the language without just automatically learning the culture that goes with that language. Immersion schools are a perfect example of this. So I'm going to talk about the strengths and some of the problems with culture-based education, and I'm going to speak in terms of my community and my people, which are the Haudenosaunee. So I'm going to start with the strengths first. So obviously, students and young people learn the language and their culture. Students learn to be thankful because our culture is one that gives thanks before anything else. At my school, every morning, all grades, K to 8, and the English and the immersion side, gather in our gym. One student from the immersion program will stand up in front of the school and recite the Thanksgiving address, the Ganyo, and it's all done in the Gayakono language, which is Kiuga. In the Thanksgiving address, we are just told to be thankful for everything that the Creator has given us. Thanks for the day. Thank you for allowing us to come together and our minds to be together as one. That's how we start every morning, every day at school. Students gain a sense of identity and how they belong and where they fit in this world when they're learning about their culture. They learn traditional ceremonies and practice these ceremonies to help keep them on the right path, which ultimately helps them become contributing members to our community and therefore proud to be Haudenosaunee people. So some of the problems with culture-based education, hard to believe there would be problems, but there seem to be as many problems as there are benefits. There's never enough fluent, qualified teachers. I have issues with the word qualified. I've addressed this issue before, so I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to talk about that here. When students leave school, their parents have little to no knowledge of the language and therefore can't converse with them at home in the language. It's not that they don't encourage the use of the language, it's that they don't have the enough, even a base of the language to communicate with their kids at home. Back at school, there's little to no resources for teachers, immersion teachers. So creating these resources is actually, it would be a full-time job for someone. And it's not just as simple as you would think as translating those resources from English to Gayakono or Kiuga, just for the simple fact that it's hard to find the equivalent Gayakono words for some of the English words because the language is so rich. So a lot of meaning, a lot of time gets lost in translation. There's a constant fight that my principal is fighting with her supervisor to implement a culture-based curriculum. Not that the supervisor opposes it or the principal opposes it. It's just there's always a push to get it done, to get it done, to get it done. Implementing a curriculum, it's not something that can happen overnight for a lot of reasons, a lot of the reasons I've already talked about. And finally, probably the biggest issue of all is funding. So the federal government funds my school, and they're not about to hand over money and have no say in how that money is being utilized, and that comes in the form of which curriculum is being used. My mom always told me money is the root of all evil, and I think she's right. It's something she learned from her mom, and her mom learned from her mom, and so on and so on.